listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
Welcome to the White Wall Sessions Radio. I'm your host, Dan Schaefer. On tonight's show, part 2 of The Gentleman's Anti-Temperance League, The 2 Tracks, and David Allen. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter by searching The White Wall Sessions. We are now accepting submissions for Season 8. To apply, visit whitewallsessions.com. The White Wall Sessions would like to thank these fine sponsors for their support. Last Stop CD Shop, Bell Incorporated, Workplace IT Management, J. Rick Luthery, The University Center, Screen Flare, The Pink Moon Room, Club David, Great Outdoor Store, local branded convenience stores, Minuteman Press, Vishnu Bunny Tattoo and Piercing, and South Dakota Friends of Traditional Music. The Gentleman's Anti-Temperance League is an all-string quartet from Minneapolis, Minnesota. They came to Season 6 bringing their 20th century sound and style and transported the audience to a different era. The Gentleman's Anti-Temperance League is Kelly Reichert, vocals, Peter Whiteman, bass and vocals, Jonathan Halquist, violin and vocals, Alan Peterson, lead guitar and vocals, and Daniel Rosen, rhythm guitar and vocals. this is largely an acoustic band, and then you bring in that clean tone electric guitar. That sounds really cool. Almost a jazz style, but it really, more than that.
I mean, I guess if I had to call it anything, the closest thing would probably be something like a fusion sort of style. I mean, I grew up playing almost exclusively heavy metal and punk rock and punk music. And so when these John and Dan and Pete, they all grew up together in Duluth, and when they first approached me, they're like, "Oh, come play in this jazz band." I'm like, no.
Do you know who I am?
But then, went to one practice and you could feel the vibrant, just the life coming out of it. And you're just like, this is amazing. I want to be part of it. So it's just melding, the experience that I had playing the style of guitar that I do with the new stuff that I was exposed to. And you dig in and it totally influences your style. But
well, that makes sense, because I noticed when you were playing, I mean, there could have been a Marshall stack behind you and you were shredding, on a Les Paul or something, but you had that clean tone. Is that harder to do? I mean, you can't cheat as much or
well, that's the fun part of it. You're exposed, and it like Dan and Pete were saying, it's a feel thing. Where it's if you have to understand, how the song is going and put stuff in that you think fits. Yeah. And I also play an acoustic guitar when the mood is right, but I mean electric is really how I fit in much better when playing that, because that's what I'm used to. But
I think you get a lot of nice soundscapes out of like the metal side of playing electric.
Well, yeah, I mean,
definitely.
We don't have a drummer, and any rhythmic qualities that we can add. I mean, John and Kelly do the same thing. I mean, if you can add something that puts in some like syncopated rhythm or something that changes it up a little bit, it feels like you're making it more full.
Yeah, and so let's talk about it, John. When your pieces, do you find you have to sort of find spaces for them, or do they just kind of happen as you all are playing?
I would have trouble telling you exactly where the music that I play comes from. I've played violin mostly classically throughout my life, and so I have all these songs and rhythms and things in my head that have been programmed in there, because that's what you do. You do it over and over again. You listen to it. You do this until it's just really in there. And I just listen to the music and I play whatever I feel like, and eventually I find something that I like, and it's hard to say exactly if I'm finding the space or the space is finding me or something like that. But, I really like putting in syncopated rhythms and other little addendums. And sometimes you got to back it off. Sometimes you got to turn it up a little bit. But I don't know. Sometimes it feels like something else is playing the music inside of me, which is a weird feeling. Really? When you look and you say, I don't know how I'm playing this. Like, I'm not consciously really doing it. There's another part of you that's programmed to do it, and it does it, and you kind of lose control of yourself, and that's a weird thing to
Is that
experience.
Weird or fun or both?
I mean, it's both. I don't think about it. I just close my eyes and just let it flow.
Is that when a classically trained violin player, is that when your violin turns into a fiddle for a little while and comes back?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not reading notes off the page anymore. I used to, but not anymore. I'm free.
And then your third grade teacher slaps the music stand and you come back to the fiddle.
Sometimes we got to get the ruler out.
Yep. There were no rulers involved. But the baton, yes.
No rulers, just
the stick
baton.
thing. Well, Kelly, let's talk about your vocals, because that is definitely the fifth part of this music. That's an instrument in itself. How long have you been singing?
Well, I guess publicly since I was 17 years old. I was a junior in high school before I sang in front of anyone. I was deathly shy when I was a child, and I would sing all the time Home Alone, all the time. And I was home alone a lot. But I would lock all the doors and windows, like double check them, make sure everything's closed, look out the blinds, just to make sure no one's out there. And then I would let loose. So I've been singing forever, as long as I can remember, as long as I was allowed to stay home alone, I guess, which was probably too early.
Well, when did you go from that comfortable, nobody's looking space to, well, maybe I'll sing one song?
Well, there was this one song, like, in choir in high school, you're playing all these dweeby choral songs. And then my choir director threw a gospel tune at us, and there was this really amazing solo in it. And I had to, I knew deep down, no one else knew this about me, but I just knew that I was the best fit for that solo, and I made myself try out for it. And that was the first time I did, and it was such an amazing experience. I couldn't stop.
Well, yeah, I mean, a gospel song gospel is definitely technique, but is not as much technique as it is soul and emotion, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you can get that, that's cool. Yeah. So when did you join up with these guys? I think we talked about it.
Yeah, they asked me to sing on a song on Millennial Blues they released in 2015, and I just hopped on one song. It's called Stella, track 9.
Oh, nice.
I think.
Nice. We forgot to credit her on the album, too.
Oh, yeah, they forgot to credit me on the album.
That was my bad. I'm sorry, Kelly.
They fixed it on the second run of it.
You run all the songs.
But yeah, they just asked me to sing on that track, and I would show up to local gigs and hop up on stage for that one song, and they're like, you should learn some more of our songs, and just kind of blossomed from there.
Struggling with the ice. It's almost time to wake up, my dear. There's no one way for us to wait before it melts away. It's almost time to wake up, my dear. There's no one way for us to wait before it melts away.
Coming up after the break, the 2 tracks.
You're listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
Returning for season 6 are the 2 tracks, an Americana roots band from Sheridan, Wyoming.
All right, this first song is called Whiskey Please.
The band brought their honest lyrics and deep rhythm to season 6, where they really moved the crowd. The 2 tracks are Julie Sheffs, vocal and guitar, David Hubner, vocals, cello, and electric guitar, Fred Cerna, drums, percussion, and vocals, and Aaron Asher, bass and vocals. When you're writing, is it a Julie song or a Dave song, or do you try and co-write it all, or does that not come up?
Well,
I mean, we kind of co-write a little bit just in terms of editing each other's material, but I mean, we both sort of, at least so far, have pretty much like, written the song or completed it as far as we think it's probably like got it to a finished state, and then, we'll do some tweaks to it, like if a word seems weird to me or something, we do little edits, but it's generally if Julie's singing it, it's her song, and if I'm singing it, it's my song. So.
And Dave just wrote a duet, which we haven't done a duet yet, so it's not quite ready.
Yeah, we still have to work on that one.
Yeah, we'd like to write more. We love going to record stores or thrift stores and finding all the old country classics, like the duets, like George Jones and everything else. So.
George and Tammy.
So so we'd like to have a duet on the next album.
Mm-hmm. So talk about the second album. You did a fundraiser, and then you went down to Nashville with Will Kimbrough, and John Prine actually owns that studio, right?
Yeah. It's he kind of kept it afloat. You know, is what I think. For a while there in Nashville, it's probably a common story. A lot of these studios weren't quite making it, you know, and he just loved the place so much that, you know, just kept it going. And Sturgill Simpson also kind of makes his home there at that studio and recorded his last Grammy-winning album there. And
a couple months before we were there, Sturgill recorded his album there. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and so you think of like these shiny, you know, like, because I have seen pictures of some Nashville studios, very clean and everything's very orderly and fancy looking, and then there's the butcher shop, which is just very comfortable, and there's weird statues and dusty Grammys in the corner, and you know. But then you're like looking at this beat up door that you walk through to go into the recording space, and it's got Chris Christopherson's signature on it, or you know Johnny Cash's signature on the posters, and you know, the funny thing is we were like, can we open the curtains? You know, like, because it's like kind of dark in here. You know, we were talking about opening the curtains, and the engineer's like, I don't know that those curtains have ever been moved.
like ever. Like 30 years.
He was like, I don't know that I would touch those.
They might just disintegrate.
It was like he was worried about the cloud of dust that might just like come off of these curtains, but there's nothing dusty or dirty about the sound quality, that's for sure. And they know what they're doing there, and it's very easy.
It is a great sounding album. I love it. I mean, and Fred, I want to get you in here because your drums are. You brought this kit last time, and
I did.
We immediately said those sound amazing, and that drummer is amazing.
Thank you.
How long have you been playing?
Well, I started when I was a sixth grader, so that makes a long time for me. And then playing music, I took a break for a bit. I was a railroader for many years and retired from that. And then both kids were grown up, and my wife was very patient, and so I started in with bands, playing. I play congas, timbales in another band, which makes me a better drummer, and had the great pleasure of playing with Aaron in quite a few bands for a lot of years, and now with Julie, now with Dave. But yeah, that's all I do now is I just play music. I'm fortunate to get called.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And so Julie and you started the band, basically, right?
We did. I came from a group that was done, and so Julie was starting to write, and I'd known Julie. She was always very supportive of all the other groups that played, ones I played in, or other friends of hers. And so when I was done, we got together, and she was writing, and so I remember she's very open. All of them are, as far as where the songs are going to go. I love shuffle, and she's joking about folk music. I love it, but I was telling her one time we're playing, and I said, Julie, I could shuffle every song, so we need to just change it up, you know. And that's not that I knew how to. It's just like together. And that was a cool thing, is that everybody is very open to things, and I don't have a problem of bringing an idea, and they say, well, it doesn't quite work. And I mean, I'm mad, but anyway, so Julie and I started the group. Some of these songs that we first started playing, they're a lot more special because I do remember taking a snare and sitting with her, and we'd be across from each other, and she'd say, what would you lay to this? And so I'd just do it with the snare and hands, and we'd come up with something, and then these guys come in, and they're just like, boom, yeah. And they would add something to it. That was the nice thing. They'd be like, hey, well, maybe we'd do this here or do this here. So, yeah.
Well, Julie has said that she's come in with a song, and by the time it gets out the other end, after she talks to Fred, it's completely changed, and she's happy with that. So.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate. They're very open about it, and I don't always get my way, but
real quick, I want to talk about Sheridan because it's a real special place to y'all. Are any of you born and raised there, or did you all come there? Okay, Fred.
Yeah, I'm native to Sheridan.
So that rhythm section is
yeah.
Best part.
Yeah.
Julie, when did you come to? Where were you raised, and when did you come to Sheridan?
I'm originally from Missouri, and I went to college in Colorado. I was there for a while, and then moved up to Sheridan for a archaeology survey job 12 years ago. And so my former life, I was an archaeologist and fell in love with Sheridan, and So I'm there now. It's a great home base for us. It's been great.
I moved from California probably 4 years ago. So I was born and raised in California, and definitely a California kid, right? But Wyoming is not that much of a transition from like Eastern California. It's pretty rural. And when I first moved to Wyoming, and you say like, oh, well, I'm from California, you know, I felt like I needed to point out, but like Laramie or Sheridan or whatever is like the biggest town I've lived in like 15 years, because I was living in these little ski towns in Eastern California that were like 5,000 people, you know.
Got that old Victrola dusted down, scratchy records touched by little fingers over many years. Standing in the kitchen, she wears a princess dress, very warm, granting dreams that are near. It's been a favorite song tonight. Keep those memories close inside. Oh, don't ever let them go. Go, go. It's been a favorite song tonight. Take some time to watch the show, 'cause they'll roll, don't you know, don't you know. Little boy taps his toes, hasn't got the beat yet, but he's grinning with a listening ear. Stands up proud and laughs out loud, then falls upon the floor. When the music ends, he's asking for more. It's been a favorite song tonight. Keep those memories close inside. Oh, don't ever let them go. Go, go. It's been a favorite song tonight. Take some time to watch the show, 'cause they'll grow, don't you know, don't you know. Change that needle, change that 78. Oh, the dance floor opens up for all who's near. Take that hand, the lights dim down, the night comes around. One by one, no sleepy eyes appear. It's been a favorite song tonight. Keep those memories close inside. Oh, don't ever let them go. Go, go. you know, 'cause they'll grow.
Coming up after the break, David Allen.
You're listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
David Allen comes to us from Hatton, North Dakota. David developed a soulful charm during his early years of working construction and singing country music in bars. The crowd was charmed by his translucent voice and heartfelt lyrics.
You feel like you're alone, but I'll be here. Whenever I can. The sad songs that I write are not worth them's about the times that we shared. Even if your tears are made of gold, well, I would not want them to ever fall. The weeks are long and the nights are cold, but I'll be whole as soon as I'm able. You worry about the days ahead, but I know that they'll work out. Like I've always said, and even if your tears are made of gold, well, I would not want them to ever fall.
Do you ever find a point where the song starts writing itself almost? You know, does that happen?
A little bit, yeah. I wish it was more of that, but yeah, it's a little bit of that. Where it kind of just starts coming out and
do the
write it
lyrics
down
follow
quick.
the music?
Yeah, usually. I mean,
or do you put music to the lyrics?
I usually just sit down and start playing a few chords and then start making up words, and kind of stems from there usually.
And as those words come out, then does the story start forming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll come up with a couple lines and then usually the chorus or whatever, and then I'll sit down and work on that a little bit and try to work on a little bit, and then it just one day it'll just all kind of click together and piece it all, puzzle together, and works out.
Yeah, you said the song Right at Home, I think, took 8 years.
Yeah, about 8 years to actually record.
Is it, do you know when you're done with the song, or is it always kind of like, well, I'll just finish it for now, and then it becomes the end?
I always say, like, yeah, I think I'm done, and then, yeah, that it ends, yeah. It probably should go back and work on them some more, but...
But you've gone on to the next project.
Yeah, it's like that old Hank Williams, takes more than 20 minutes to write, it's not worth it kind of thing.
Yeah, that is a good. I mean, at least the core of the song.
Yeah. Now I have people, my producer, engineer. Well, you need to add this, or you got to go back and change some of this. Okay, now, kind of like my boss. So
yeah. So let's talk about your recording. You've got 3 records, or a full length and a couple EPs.
Yep.
How did you approach I mean, were the EPs, they preceded the album, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And did you go into a studio with a producer and an engineer and all that?
Just kind of, the first EP just went into a studio with my brother, and he knew the guy that ran the studio. We just kind of started them. Like, I did all my parts, and then actually the guys that did the John Prine tribute band with me is Joe Copel, and then a friend, Brian Wheat, kind of came in and added the other stuff. And later, like probably a year later, they actually came in and finished them and then put it out. And then it's kind of how it's been. We're just go and do my part and then find friends that come in whenever they can and add what they want and see where it goes. It's really fun to watch it build out of just me and a guitar to a full band.
Sure.
Plus extras.
Well, Joe Cope was a friend of the show. He did a session here.
Yep.
Great sound.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
So do you ever see, I mean, you said it's fun to watch your song build. Do you ever see your song sort of getting away from you? Or is it just, I mean, do you just rein it back in?
No, it seems to kind of go where, I don't really have an end game usually, so it's fun to just kind of follow it. And the guys I work with are all on the same page as where it should go. So, like my producers, him and I are locked. Yeah. He knows what he's doing, so I let him do it. Yeah,
because you got to be able to trust your producer, because the producer really has, and it depends on how you arrange it, but they can have creative,
Yeah, it's not
authority.
A real official thing, but he'll work on it, and then he'll work on a mix and then send it to me. And what do you think? He actually more critical of himself than I would ever be of him. So
yeah,
he really wants to bring the best out of the song. So,
well, how did you come about the style you have now? What did you grow up listening to?
A lot of drive-by truckers, Jason Isbell, Lucero, kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wilco, just all of that singer-songwriter music. So it's
just kind of stuck with you. And
yeah.
Sometimes we get guys that were in metal bands and now they're doing bluegrass stuff.
Oh yeah,
we see that a lot actually.
Yeah, well, bluegrass is the death metal of country music, basically.
So, do you prefer playing solo or with the band, or is it just different experiences and you like it?
It depends on what the venue is. It's easier to just do solo because I can walk in here with a guitar and a backpack and pack up and leave and get an Uber home. Don't have to worry about drum kit or bass amp or anything like that. But it's fun to have a band just to kind of more laid back then. And I still do once in a while play with I have a bass player and a drummer that'll come with and do some shows with me, but typically solo. It's just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So I'm very sporadic on tempo and how the song actually goes sometimes. So
well, that is kind of hard when you're used to playing your song solo and you kind of feel, well, maybe I forgot the words and you do a couple extra measures of that.
Yeah.
But now it's a band and they're looking at you, where are you going with that?
Well, and then they live in Minneapolis, so we never really get time to, we played more shows than we've ever practiced. So we never really get time to work anything out either. So, but it's always fun to have a band just to share it with other people. And
sure. So you've played a good bit of shows by yourself, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So where is music taking you? Well, I mean, geographically.
I've kind of gone all over the place. I've been down to Georgia and South Carolina and Texas.
Really?
Yeah, I always have time in the winter to kind of do whatever I want. So I used to do a lot more, just set up a random tour and drive all over and get to see the country and head for warmer climates and stuff. I've gone to Denver a few times, different parts of Texas, and a couple different years in a row. And then, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee,
Yeah.
But staying more regional now. Kind of North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, South Dakota. And so.
Well, you've opened for a few, at least our friends. Dave Simonette, I think you opened for. And
Yep.
How do those gigs come about?
Through Jade Presents in Fargo. He just started asking me to do shows whenever he needed an opener or different events or something. And great friend to have to want you to do shows because he puts them all on. So.
Have you ever done one of those tours since you're a solo performer and can hold, a crowd by yourself? Ever, throw the guitar in the back seat or the bed and just go and let music pay for the tour? Or have you ever thought about doing that?
I wouldn't get very far if I did that. No, I've never just taken off or anything. I've always tried to plan it out, but it's always been poor planning, a lot of backtracking and just kind of picking up shows wherever. I know you can't love me anymore, and I completely understand. Cigarettes and cocaine lines are always running through my mind. Well, I can't face real life. So go on, honey, stay gone. Well, I know that I'm the one to blame. So go. I hope you stay on. I wish I could say I never hit the bottom before, but it gets worse here every day. Stay up all night, pair strong on homemade wine until I forget my own name. Go on, honey, stay gone. Well, I know that I'm the one to blame. So go, honey, I hope stay
go. Honey, yeah, I hope you stay gone. Honey, yeah, I hope you stay gone.
The White Wall Sessions is recorded at Last Stop Studios in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and is produced by Spectrum Films Incorporated. Executive producers are Jeff Zuger, Doug Taylor, Greggy Johnson, and Jay Fishback. Head of broadcast is David Palmer. Associate producer is Mike Yeager. The White Wall Sessions Radio is produced and edited by Jeff Zuger. Audio recording and mixing by Kevin Phipps, Chad Conrad, August Dahlgren, and David Palmer. Scheduling and artist relations, Tom Eisner. Be sure to join us again next week. Same time, same place.
You are listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.